My children's mom trying to get full custody for me. I'm like, why? Like, I was taking my kids to school, yesterday. I was taking them to school yesterday. It was about 7:15, 7:20. And I was just thinking, like, look at all the stuff that I've done, and it's only 7:20. And look at all that I'm going to do for the rest of the day. Being a great father. But somebody want to say that you're raising your children.
Martell Holt just received some unexpected news, and this is not a minor alteration if the rumors are accurate. It completely changes the game. Melody Shie may be pregnant, according to some, but not by Martell. The subject of all this discussion is Hill Harper. Let us be clear now. Board bloggers did not just make up this absurd headline. For weeks, the hints have been accumulating. Melody first alters her typical appearance. Then they noticed it. Someone claims to have seen her with a tall man in an Atlanta women's health facility. Additionally, Martell apparently had a complete meltdown while filming, just as viewers were beginning to piece everything together. He was reportedly snapping at the producers, pacing and shouting. He even exclaimed, "She wants the world to think I am disposable," according to a friend of his. It was all in that one line. It is more than just an opportunity to become a parent. He lost the tail to the woman he believed he could defeat. Additionally, keep in mind that Hill Harper's name was not chosen at random. Rumor had it that they had both attended the same event. A few of Melody's posts caught his attention. She returned to him. Those who enjoyed it took notice, they always do.
I'm Hill Harper, I'm an actor, I'm an author, and someone who cares about social justice and education.
After then, the internet went berserk as word of the pregnancy spread. When blogs began publishing news about award-winning actors getting ready for fatherhood, the emphasis shifted.
Full story, just in time for Father's Day, about an award-winning actor who's taking on possibly the biggest role in his life as a single dad. We're going to speak to Hill Harper.
Martell was more than his former partner. He had his eyes on the outside. This is not another tale of marriage and love in Huntsville. This is more profound. Martell never intended to become pregnant, if the rumors are accurate. Melody is truly on the move, and with a person who does not cause trouble for the general public.
I'm tired of that. Martell is not this person. Y'all have never seen me hit anybody, but y'all have seen Martell being hit. Martell never children. Never. And never will.
We arrived here by a chronology that is full of shade, stillness, and prearranged slayage. So let us take a moment to look back. Things had finally calmed down for Martell and Melody after all the infidelity, the public divorce, and the custody disputes. Longtime residents of Huntsville who had witnessed marriage and love were well aware of what was happening. There is generally something going on beneath the surface when things are too quiet. That kind of peace between these two is not sustainable. It never does. Their relationship is built on tension, as the show has proven, and when one of them changes, the other usually seeks to take control. The fact that this truce felt like a performance made it even more dubious. The fact that Martell is pleasant in public is meaningless. The fact that there was a history behind all those compliments indicates that he either desired something or felt as though he was losing something.
It seemed like we teamed them out of a lot. Just by not having that alliance being right there together, you know? I think about that often.
It's gonna make you a little emotional when you see them come down the aisle and all the love that you see 30 years in.
You're right, man.
Yeah.
It's tough. You're right.
Yeah.
Damn. Melody and I not having any interaction, not even speaking, that always bothers me. When we got married, I never would have thought that we would be in this space, at a place like this, vows being renewed. If anything, I would have thought that would have been us.
There was also the possibility of another storm beneath all of that. Suddenly, the name that nobody anticipated appears. When viewers first witnessed Melody and Hill Harper conversing, it appeared arbitrary. Hill Harper's name rarely appears in the news for negative reasons. He used to know Michelle Obama, but he is a private individual. He is not here to get into trouble with reality television or want celebrity. That is what was so fascinating about this. Hill never publicly flirted with anyone. Since Hill Harper does not add much drama to the scene, Melody did not employ her typical boss move captions with tea illusion.
Do I know you?
Actor, author, philanthropist, and now a proud single father.
Just that got everyone talking. However, when the rumors proliferated, whispers became a media sensation. Melody was spotted visiting a women's wellness center in Atlanta with a tall, well-dressed male. According to a tweet, despite the lack of a name, many assumed it was Hill. The tweet did not remain active for very long. A screenshot was taken before it was swiftly removed. Then the hazy images appeared. A woman who resembled Melody was spotted walking out of the clinic. She had on leggings, sunglasses, and a sweater. Next to her, though, was a man drinking a smoothie. The story really took off at that point. On Instagram fan sites, Reddit, and TikTok, everyone was chatting. Theories ranged from speculating about the baby's gender to estimating the delivery date. However, Martell lost it while filming not in front of the camera, but behind the scenes when others on the internet were speculating. According to insiders, he was totally abandoned. According to one insider, a producer had to yank him away in order to soothe him. He reportedly yelled something that reflected his true feelings. She wants others to believe that I am interchangeable. Since it had nothing to do with the baby, that line was unique. Not even Hill Harper was involved. Control was the key. The idea that Melody could be commended for moving on, that she could start afresh without Martell, and possibly with a problem-free partner. Martell was taken aback by that. He lost a relationship years ago, but that was not all. The plot slipped his mind. Furthermore, Martell is no longer only an ex if Melody is indeed pregnant and content with a new partner like Hill Harper. He's the past, and he is obviously not prepared for that kind of work. And Hill Harper finally speaks. Just when supporters thought things could not get much better, Hill Harper finally made a statement at the height of the rumors, but in a way that nobody anticipated. He spoke about fatherhood and being a black man in leadership on a panel. The occasion was serious and professional, and many community leaders were there. However, the question that had been circulating on social media was posed by an audience member even in that situation. Will you and Melody Shie become parents? Nowadays, most well-known celebrities would steer clear of such a topic. They would either become angry or laugh it off. Hill, however, remained composed. "We are not in a relationship and there is no pregnancy," he responded, meeting the person's gaze. However, it did not end there. Something he said caused everyone to pause and reflect. Hill claimed to have nothing but positive things to say about Melody. He described her as a strong, driven woman who was doing incredible feats. He avoided discussing the rumors, her show, or her past. Simply give her some room and go on. However, the line that truly put a stop to the celebration came next. "I am not a blogger. I do not disclose a lot of personal information." It was not just a line, it was a sign. The show was not why he was here. He had no intention of becoming embroiled in a reality program love triangle. He had no intention of adding fuel to the fire, no matter how hot it was. Despite Hill's departure from the drama, Melody became more immersed in the mystery. The images all appeared to be from a magazine on good life. Most significantly, her middle was never exposed. Every frame seemed to have a specific function. That moment sealed the deal for many supporters. Martell went online as soon as the baby bottle post appeared and the video began to circulate, but he refrained from discussing it directly. He never does. Rather, he wrote, the nighttime live performance followed. Martell appeared to be in need of a nap. His voice sounded odd, and his eyes were worn out. He began shouting at those who pretend to be mature but are still playing games. Once more, those who enjoyed it could sense it. Whether the rumor was accurate or not made no difference. This had to do with losing control of the narrative. Melody had ceased speaking. Hill Harper had quietly put an end to it. However, Martell was losing it once more. However, the subsequent events transformed this hearsay into a definitive confirmation. Neither Melody nor Hill Harper did it. Silently, it dropped from an Instagram fan page that claimed to have inside knowledge. "It is a girl," was written in gold icing on top of a pastel-colored cake in a softly lit photograph. In the background were white and pink balloons. While fans were busy trying to figure things out, one thing became evident. Melody has more than simply her own interests in mind. Without a word, she controlled the entire conversation. However, Melody simply checked Martell if she had been playing chess the entire time. Then another piece of the puzzle appeared a few days later. On TikTok this time, a video was uploaded by someone who claimed to have visited the same clinic weeks earlier. Melody was seen strolling near the shore. The world congratulated Martell, but his timeline went berserk. Unexpectedly, he shared a narrative that said, Some scars never heal, especially when falsehoods reopen them. Less than an hour after it was published, the post was removed. However, it was too late. Already, screenshots were gaining popularity and swiftly spreading via fan sites and blogs. Not everyone was merely inquiring about his well-being. They were curious as to why he was unable to let go. For a long time, Martell held the story in his hands. Whether it was a good or bad storm, he was at its core. Now, however, things are different. The plot is being skillfully and stylishly guided by Melody. She is not responding to him. She is not taking part. She is not explaining herself. And the way power functions is being altered by that silence. But what are everyone's thoughts? Was it a pregnancy or a power struggle? Is Martell furious that he no longer has control, or is he heartbroken? Click like and subscribe if you were the first to figure out all the hints. Consider other options. If this is how Melody informs us, she is expecting a child. She is keeping it from us.